Welcome to early review or first impression of Bleak Faith Forsaken, you intrigued bastards. This is not a full review because I didn't finish it and only played for 8 hours or so. Full playthrough lasts for about 20 hours, so game is on the shorter side, which isn't necessarily a bad thing as it does have replayability value due to different playstyles. Reason why I have played it for only 8 hours is that I couldn't continue playing it in this alpha stage. This shouldn't have been released anytime soon. It hurts a bit to say that because I bought the game to support the Balkan developers as they are rare and thought maybe a lot of people were wrong about criticizing it, but after playing it my critique is even harsher. 30 euros or dollars for such a game is simply way too much as things stand. What even is Bleak Faith Forsaken? It is a Souls game that draws similarities with the likes of Mortal Shell and Hellpoint. Ideas are not the issue, as some core concepts are quite solid, but the amount of clunk, unpolishedness, bugs and the lack of expanding on these concepts is what makes it a game to avoid for significant amount of time until it really gets fixed to acceptable state. Big dick move that I respect hell of a lot is that there are no iframes at all, so no matter what you do combat wise you might get hit depending on the positioning and attack animation investment. To add to that, enemies don't do tracking attacks, which is also great. I hate those in games. For such ballsy combat to work, a game needs to be really polished and well thought out through and through, which unfortunately it isn't. At the beginning I was enjoying this atypical approach. Devs added attack cancel because it needs to be in a game with no iframes, and combat is very slow, which I like. Problem is that enemy animations outside of attacks have this weird same slow animation speed that doesn't make sense at times. Basically like they are doing everything at same speed. Whole game plays out badly despite some good ideas. Camera is atrocious in anything but a full open area as it goes haywire frequently. Combat is so clunky with nagging feeling that whole game is gonna fall apart soon in all sorts of bad ways. Balance is also out of whack. Upon encountering stronger enemies you can get killed way too easily, and in the meantime killing normal enemies is a cakewalk. AI is almost non-existent outside of basic functions. Sometimes enemy will even parry player attacks, but it all plays out in a weird cheating way of sorts. Simply AI was reading inputs for their parry to succeed. Too many awkward moments without any sort of precision brings whole combat down a lot. Terrible sound effects don't help as well. Combos are important in Bleak Faith and I quite like how they work, even though this system is a bit arcadey. It is a simple method of chaining combo attacks through good button press timing. It isn't difficult but can definitely play a huge factor at times if done right or if failed. I like the fact that there are dismemberments and gore, but again, like all other aspects, it needs serious polishing as it seems it is only a concept feature as things stand. Only played against one boss so far and it was kinda meh. No iframes definitely makes it interesting in all sorts of ways, but it ends up being very shallow after few repetitions. Weapon diversity is alright, but more importantly game offers dual wield, two-handed and single-handed with shield, so plenty things to try out in such a short game. Increases replay value definitely. Character progression is done through gear and without levels, which is interesting approach. Abilities are diverse and interesting. Perks as well. Some weapons also have special abilities, so combining character abilities with perks and weapon abilities is going to build your character. Gear has levels and modes with various effects can be slotted. For example, there is a perk that upon hitting an enemy, illusion of you spawns that continues attacking the enemy for a brief period. Very cool idea, but again terribly presented. Illusion spawns without any indication through sound or visual effects and disappears the same way. At first I thought another enemy has spawned and is coming for me, which wouldn't be strange as some enemies can teleport. Simple and decent character upgrade system, but to know how deep it goes and what can be done I would have to replay the game many times, and there is no chance in hell I'm doing that. If I was 20 then sure, but at this age time is too valuable. World looks ominous and quite bleak. It appears we are going through a destroyed city with many areas that are unfortunately too similar and lacking in detail. Again, overall idea of this world is good, but presentation is terrible. Many bland hallways and underground areas. Open areas are alright though. Bland locations unfortunately will get you lost and confused due to lack of details. Game also doesn't do good enough job to present where you could possibly explore further by jumping on what might look like hidden ledges. Instead, almost all the time it is going to lead to necessary death, because only way to get back is to respawn. I like the fact that they have added underwater exploration. Cool idea with some nasty sea monsters beneath lurking. However, those monsters are constantly clipping in and out of structures, which again ruins immersion and any attempt at scary and exciting moments. Atmosphere is quite nice, but again presentation ruins it. Enemies awkwardly walking around, bad sound effects, character and enemies clipping through absolutely everything, lack of details in most locations. I do think after severe polishing, atmosphere in this game could be quite something, as the city that we are in has that vibe in itself that creates dread and despair. Music helps a lot in that aspect, and it is by far best thing about Bleak Faith Forsaken. Unfortunately, I can't play any of it because it is copyrighted, and music companies can suck my dick if they think they would get easy money from this bastard by claiming my videos. Since this is not a full review, I can't give the game any score, but in all seriousness, if time is of value to you, avoid Bleak Faith Forsaken for a long time. Game definitely has potential in many ideas, but it is so far from realizing it, it might never come even close. To be able to play it as things stand, you are going to have to look over so many things that in the end it won't be worth it. Rather play Hellpoint or Mortal Shell or any other Souls game out there. A shame, really. Balkan devs were onto something and I wanted them to succeed so much, but unfortunately this game is good representation of the situation in Balkan. Lot of potential, but lacking everywhere.